Hey everyone, welcome back. It's been another month that's gone by in Mosaic, and I hope you guys are having an awesome April. I can't believe that summer's just around the corner. We're getting just a sliver of it. It's getting closer. Things are turning, well, they're trying to turn green outside, and things are starting to bud, and it's just, oh, it's so nice to see. And the weather's getting warmer. Thank you, Jesus. We did have kind of a freak snowfall a few weeks ago. That was kind of weird, but that's also just typical Alaska weather behavior. Anyway, yeah, I want to catch you guys up on this month. I'm actually literally looking at my calendar right now, and there's a lot. A lot went on in April, but it was really good. But I'm just gonna touch on like a couple of highlights for it so I can keep it like brief and short. Otherwise, I'll talk for like 20 minutes. So, anyway, let's just go ahead and dive into it. I did notice that this month I spent a lot of time with students. I mean, I already spent a lot of time with students, just with like the events that we hold and meeting with them, but I spent a lot of time like outside of our quote unquote official meeting times, whether that's mosaic nights or events we put on or discipleship. I just got to hang out with students a lot, and it was so much fun. There's actually quite a few moments where I got to hang out with students one on one that like we weren't necessarily doing discipleship or anything that, but just going and having fun, like going bowling or having them come over and just like hang out, eat some dinner, watch some movies, and just have really good discussions. And man, like I didn't know that was something that I needed and also they needed. And so it was really good, but yeah, and so it's awesome. I was able to spend just so much time and like I got to go to a hockey game with a few of my students and that was so much fun. They got to see another side of me that they were not maybe as aware of, which was really fun. Just because I get really riled up at hockey games, but oh my gosh, it was a blast. And so very thankful for that. But yeah, just I spent a lot of time hanging out with students, and I think it's really good since we're also transitioning into our summer months, which looks a little bit different than how it does in the school year and stuff. That it is going to be a lot of like hangout time together and just like fellowship. And so I think it was helping to set that up well for this summer. I'm very excited for summer, guys, and can't wait to talk a little bit more about that. And also, once I do know like kind of what our summer looks like, I have an idea, but I have not been a part of our like summer missions yet for Mosaic, but I'm very much looking forward to it. So yeah, I got to spend a lot of time with students. My discipleship time with some students has been going really good. Yeah, one of my students actually, she really wanted to go through the book of Revelation. I was like, really? Like, not to discourage, like, absolutely read through Revelation. It's a great book, but it's also just a lot, and there's so much of like interpretation and what means what's literal, what's figurative, what's metaphorical, like. And so I told her, I was like, hey, just so you know, there's a lot of information in here, and chances are you're probably not gonna understand all of it. And you know what? That's okay. Like I had to tell her, I'm like, I don't even understand all of it. I'm sure that there's no one that can completely understand Revelation. If they do, send them my way so I can know. But um no, it was really good. Like we definitely had a lot of great discussions and just asking like because she did ask me a lot of kind of intense questions of like what do you think this means or what do you believe, which then made me have to think of like what do I believe and stuff. But it was really good to walk through with that. And just like we kept the main focus because I didn't want her to get well overwhelmed, or me either, that in the end, Jesus wins and everything will be made new and perfect again. And so we just kind of like focused on that, but it was cool to kind of dive in because a lot of people kind of avoid Revelation because it doesn't make sense or it sounds scary because it's like Armageddon, you know. But it's a fantastic book. And then our last meeting, we focused on the last two chapters. It talks about the New Jerusalem and how everything will be made new and just it's such an encouraging way to end the Bible and just it's something to be looking forward to. And um but yeah, like there was like she was concerned of like, well, I don't want to believe like the wrong thing by accident. I'm like, none of us know when Jesus is coming back, and we shouldn't even try to try to figure out like the exact date and the exact time because that's not our job, and we're actually called to not do that. Because she was wondering, like, what does it mean to prepare? And so I got to just talk a little bit into that of just preparing our hearts for Jesus, living our life as He did, and making Him known to others, and sharing, the sharing the good news, sharing the gospel, and not having to get so caught up in the what ifs and of like, well, what if this happens and what if, anyway, just like Revelation's a lot. So I was actually kind of glad. Initially, I was like, oh, okay, Revelation. But I'm so glad that we did go through it because it was both a encouragement to both of us and a stretch for both of us, but it was very healthy and we had some really good conversations. So very thankful for that. Yeah, I did we're doing the worship nights weekly, or we tried to. It was a little hard in April just because like I got sick at the beginning of April. That was not fun. And then we had a couple of nights where we couldn't meet. But then on those nights I just met with other students one on one, and that was super fun. So I'm like, even though we didn't have our usual worship like regularly scheduled program for that, it still was really good. And like they got to come over just a couple days ago. And that was so much fun. Like we got to finally do some worship practice together, but there was also just a lot of laughs that came out of it and good times and good conversations. So they're wanting to keep it going, I think, throughout the summer and stuff. So we're going to talk about that because summer is going to look a little bit different. But I would absolutely love to keep it going, or maybe it's something we can bring back in the fall when school comes back. But um, yeah, no, it's been so good. I wish that you guys could see like what comes out of it because one, just like great conversations. Like one of our students, she's actually discipling another student, and I'm so proud of her. And I love hearing just her updates with that because their conversations are so good. And yeah, like I hope that in the future maybe I can talk a little bit more about it. But um no, it's just been fantastic. And so just getting to hear about like how it's going with the student that she's discipling and how encouraged she is by it. And she's like, God's using my story to impact her. I'm like, yes, absolutely. And so it's just so awesome to see like our students really stepping up and wanting to like lead their friends and their classmates and discipling other students. And yeah, like we actually did our round of student leader interviews this month, actually. And so we're getting ready for our next student lead team for next year. I'm so excited for those that are coming on next year and just seeing how the Lord is going to use them because they're very outreach focused. And not saying that our current leaders aren't, but um, the group that we have, it's funny because I feel like every single one of them said that they struggled with initiative, but I'm like, you guys are already taking initiative because they're doing evangelism in like the non-traditional sense to them because everyone's got kind of a preconceived notion of what evangelism means. But they've like been going and like we had a student share the gospel on one of his online games, and that was so cool and so awesome to hear about. And we had another that started their own lacrosse club and they're using that to connect with other students. And like that's just so exciting. And hearing the vision that they have for the next year, oh, I can't wait. I'm like, can the next school year start already? But until then, we have summer missions. So our summer missions, I don't entirely know what that is just because I haven't been a part of it because both the years I was a part of Mosaic, the first year I was not even here. I was in Japan. That's when I was in YWAM, and then last year I was support raising. I don't think we really did summer missions last year, or if it was going on. It was just last summer was a weird summer. It's definitely not a typical summer for us and stuff, but it ended up working out well with whatever that was. But we have 9 interns coming up from the States. I'm so excited to meet them. There's a little bit of nervousness just because it's new, but I'm very excited. Like, we've already been able to chat with them a little bit, and they're so excited to come here. I'm like, yes, absolutely. This is the energy that we need. But yeah, so like we're going to be doing some kind of outreach. Mosaic will still be going, but it's not the typical Mosaic, and I don't think, but at the same time, I don't know. So check back again next month, or actually, no, not next month. It'll be in June when we start, because May is when we're all support raising for staff. So in June, check back in the end of June. That's when we'll know a little bit more of like what summer missions look like. Um, but yeah, no, I'm so excited to see just like how the Lord is going to use these students because these students are coming with the intention of mind of possibly serving up here in some capacity. So we're trying to give them different ways of how they can use their gifts and talents that God has blessed them with to minister to people up here in Alaska. And so we'll still be with our students, which I'm very happy about. I have to remember that because I'm like the school year when this is posted will be basically over, and we'll be transitioning into summer, but I have to remember I'm like I'm gonna see these students again and everything. But yeah, so I'll talk more about summer missions in a couple months when we actually have it going on. But I know that like I'll be leading in a book study, so looking forward to that. And just, helping with doing outreach here in our local community and stuff. So it's summer's our time to where we can pour into our local ministries and people and yeah, and instead of in the school year where our main focus is on students. So, but yeah, I'm trying to keep this short. Every time I record these, they go a little bit longer. So hopefully I'll refine these a little bit better in the future. I'm still house sitting, so my mic is still not the best, but I'm leaving in just like a week and a half. So almost there. Um, but yeah, so like our next transition phase before into we go into summer missions is all of us on staff are support raising, which I kind of talked about a little bit ago. So yeah, May is our time to really just like dive deep in inviting other people to partner with us. And um, yeah, all of us, like the rest of my staff, they're not going to be here because they are actually from the States. And so they'll be going. Two are actually gone already, and they're going and visiting family before they start. And then the other set, they'll leave in a couple of weeks too. So it'll just be me in Alaska. But hey, that's okay. Like my support is up here because I'm Alaskan. They're not from here originally and stuff, so all their support is in other areas. But do be praying for all of us as we raise our support so that we can continue to be part of the students' lives and being with them. And for those, like, if you are listening and you are one of my supporters, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting me thus far. And it helps more than you know because your contribution helps me to be able to be with the students like all the time and at a moment's notice. And I've had a few moments of like that where I've had to kind of drop everything and go be a student. So I just want to say thank you so much for the freedom in that because if I was working like a standard job, I wouldn't be able to be doing what I'm doing now. We got some future plans for Mosaic. I'll save that for another time just because this is getting longer. But there's some really exciting things coming up and I that's kind of helping me with my drive to do support raising is so that we can start the planning of those like future visions and plans that we have for Mosaic and just being able to be a part of the students' lives. So if you're one of my supporters, thank you so much. And I really couldn't do this without you, and I'm very grateful. And if you happen to know anybody, or maybe you're not supporting in some form or fashion, but you would like to, or you know someone that might like to hear about this, please contact me. I have my contact page on this website. If you go to one of the tabs that says contact, and it's got like there's a form you can fill out if you want, but my email is also there. There's a little button that's got a like little letter that you can click on, and there's also my link tree that has a little bit more information that's more personalized. So feel free with whatever form that you want to use. But I would love to get connected to you and just to be able to share more. And if you would like to partner in some way, that doesn't have to be finances. That can be in other ways, but I am also seeking financial support so I can keep doing this. Um, but yeah, like I think that's kind of what I have. This went a little longer. Ugh, I promise I will refine these better in the future. But yeah, just be praying for our staff that the Lord will bless us with the financial and prayerful provision that we need for this next year. And also just for our students, they're so excited for summer and they're so excited for next year. And just pray that that like passion continues and to keep our students safe and healthy because some are leaving for the summer. They'll come back but they'll be going to see family and things like that. So just pray for safety over them and for good health. And yeah, that we'll just be able to begin another summer and another school year with vigoration, and all that. So, but thank you so much. And I will see you guys again next month. All right. God bless, guys.